In basketball, there's a saying, $100 shot, 10-cent finish, right? Where you beautiful, athletic, looks great, but misses the basket by 5 feet, right? Your marketing misses the basket by 5 feet.
Joelle and Sonia walked into the tank looking for $250,000 for 5% of their on-the-go teeth refresher. So here she is. I feel like it's really self-explanatory. So it's a little tube. It's filled with toothpaste-type gel. And then it has the little brush, and you to get all the gunk off your teeth while you're out. It cost them $7.50 to make, and the tube sells for $22, and then the refills of the gel are $9. However, they are sold out of the refills on their website right now, so it sounds like you're just gonna have to buy a new whole tube for the moment. So far, the two have already raised $675,000, and then between the two of them, they've put in about $325,000.
So guys, if you've raised $675,000 to date, what are you here for?
They say they need the money for inventory and to scale up, but do y'all want to know their lifetime sales? They started in July of 2021. Do you want to take a little guess? You won't guess it. It's $80,000. That's it. $80,000. Do you think they're profitable off of it? No, you already know the answer. Like so many of the businesses this season, they are not profitable, and they have actually lost $130,000. And then on top of that, how much money do you think they have in the bank? $50,000. $50,000. That's it. That's all they have in the bank right now.
What happened to the money?
Then we get a fun little tiff between Robert and Mark. Robert thinks they should be in places like 7-Eleven, grocery stores, places where toothbrush things kind of already are. Mark, though, thinks they need to be in restaurants and bars, wherever you get the funk, so that way you get it, and then you can buy their product to get it off.
We want to be wherever there's a counter?
No, wherever people are getting funk.
After all the talk about marketing and everything, ultimately, all the sharks decide it's just too small of a business. Lori, Emma, Kevin, and Robert just think the sales are too small and it's not going to get there. Mark is just upset about the marketing for the most part. So they all go out.
Hey, Sonia, every year I go home and my beautiful wife, Kim, inevitably finds a product and says, why didn't you invest in this? And I give her all these reasons and she listens to me. And then she says, it's a great product. I would buy this.
Can we talk to your wife?
As I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, this is that.
So after all that, Robert makes them an offer of $250,000 for 12%, and they make a deal. So I'm not going to lie to y'all. I don't like this product. I mean, number one, these things exist. These were like my savior in high school and college. I used to carry these around all the time, and they work great. Number one, they're actually toothbrush shaped to help you get into all those little nooks and crannies, where the other thing is shaped like a lipstick thing. Like, how are you gonna get, like, back? You're just doing the front of your teeth, which is, like, kind of gross. I don't want just, like, the front of my teeth to feel clean. I want all of my mouth to feel clean if I'm gonna be doing something like that. Also, the price. I just think it's too expensive, especially because that pack I just showed you is, like, $5 for 24 of them. This just isn't for me. If y'all disagree, please let me know, but I really don't know why Robert made them an offer. I just was, like, so frustrated, but, you know, maybe they'll end up doing great. This is not the thing for me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.
You know, that's what I love about Shark Tank. You come in with one business, you leave with a different business. I hope
No, it's the same business. She said it. I could just help them tweak it.
Completely
No,
different
you just didn't understand their business. She said brands.
Alan and Amelia walked into the tank looking for $300,000 for 15% of their mail-in textile recycling business. Here's what the bag looks like. Pretty much you buy the bag, it's $14.50. You fill it with 5 pounds of clothes, textiles, anything. You mail it to them. They have somebody who sorts it and either sends it off to thrift stores, or if it's not good enough to be sold, they recycle it down into a pulp that's used for things that I'm not sure because they did not say.
Let's go through the economics again.
So like I said, you buy the bag for $14.50, and then their costs are $12 for shipping and then about 15 cents for the bag itself. On top of what you pay them, they get about 10 cents per pound from their recycling partner.
Yep. And I'm looking at the $300,000. I'll have been recycled before I ever get that back.
So yeah, Kevin's out. Emma sees the value of the business and says they do something kind of similar at Skims, but thinks the bags are way too expensive. And so for that, she's out. Lori and Robert both don't really understand the structure of the business and how they're ever going to scale up and make any money, so they go out. But Mark sees the vision. Although, it's kind of contested by the other sharks. The other sharks say that he's like reinventing their business. They like the idea. It was kind of a lot. Honestly, not even worth getting into. But Mark ends up making them an offer of $300,000 for 25%.
I would run to that offer.
Run, don't walk, guys. Run, don't fast.
They throw in a little counter of 22%.
No.
And they end up making a deal for $300,000 for 25% with Mark. So final thoughts, one of the main things with all the sharks is like, why not just take it somewhere like a Goodwill or wherever? And I'm kind of with them. Like, I have lots of different, like, charities or donation places that I can take my clothes. The only thing, though, is the textile recycling. Because I know, like, I sew quite a bit. And before I knew that Goodwill will take stuff to recycle it, I was always Googling, like, scrap fabric recycling and coming up with nothing. I only found out Goodwill would take it from somebody else telling me that randomly one day when I was complaining about that sort of thing. So now when I go to Goodwill, I take 2 different bags, one with like real clothes and stuff, and then one with scrap fabric, underwear, like that sort of stuff that you can't sell at a thrift store. So maybe you're in an area that doesn't have a place like that, and this could be good. But again, $14.50 to like donate your clothes, that's just a lot to me. Good for them, good work for the environment probably, but I'm just gonna keep taking my stuff to the different places around here. I take it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.
My name is Mark Cuban, and I'm a member of the Chub Rub
Listen, the
Club.
other thing
Brittany walked into the tank looking for $200,000 for 30% of her patch for inner thigh chafing. Before we can move on, I need y'all to hear the way the announcer introduced this product, because for some reason it made me laugh for like 10 minutes straight when I was doing my rewatch.
Next up is a solution to what may be an embarrassing personal problem.
It's something about the way he said personal problem. I don't know, anyway. Here it is. It comes in these 5 different colors, and you just stick it onto your inner thigh, one on each side, and it helps with chafing between your thighs. A pack of 2 sells for $8.98 and costs her $2.12 to make. They are a one-time use product, but she says you can wear them for up to 3 to 5 days, like if you're at like a festival or whatever. Also, part of how she came up with this is that she's involved in WWE, and I love that about her. That made me just so biased in loving her. So the first thing that gets brought up is like the powders and gels that are used to help this sort of thing. And she talks about how those kind of things get on your clothes, which that was the first thought I had. Whenever you put like Vaseline or something between your thighs to help with that, it just gets all over your shorts, and then it's just not cute. It doesn't make you feel cute and fun and summery and flirty, like. And then Emma says she doesn't like the name, which all of the sharks disagree with. They all think it's so fun and funny and catchy. Even Mark. Mark is the biggest fan of it. Kevin, on the other hand, is obviously not a man of the people.
Brittany, I like to invest in products that I actually use, and I am not a member of the Chub Rub Club.
Kevin, you rub a lot of people the wrong way.
But overall, Kevin just thinks she's in too early and thinks it's going to be tough to get his money out of the business.
I just want to be clear and be transparent about it, and I don't want any friction. So I'm out.
Then they ask her how many people are reordering. She says her reorders are only at 23%, and Mark doesn't understand why it's that low. And her response made me laugh so hard. She was like, I just think people haven't gotten around to it yet, which... She then kind of segues off talking about how she wants to get into big box stores and stuff like that, because that way people can just get it faster and not have to wait for shipping and all that jazz that everybody says about why they want to be in a big box store. Mark loves the fun and the name and everything, but overall he thinks things like Vaseline and all that work fine. He references how that's what the Mavs use, and like, yeah, if I'm doing a sport, Vaseline, whatever. But again, we're talking about being cute and flirty and fun in the heat anyway. So Robert just doesn't see this as a product that needs a large-scale investment, so he's out. Lori has her famous line of, I don't think you need a shark, so she's out. And Emma just doesn't see this as an investable opportunity, so unfortunately, she's out as well.
Thank you so much. I feel like a licensing deal, Emma, would be so great with you, because I feel like Kim Kardashian has the breast tape, and I feel like it would go along with those lines and the colors. We're just trying to be inclusive.
Brittany, you have no quit in you.
Unfortunately, though, Emma just still doesn't see this as investable, which that's not really what she was asking, but Emma also goes on to say that she thinks she's right, that she should be aligning with brands, but doesn't offer to let her align with... Anyway. Final thoughts, I am definitely going to be trying this. This is definitely one of those things that's great for when you're like trying to go out and look cute. It's not an everyday summer thing, but when you want to wear like a cute outfit and you don't want like those powders and creams and all that, I just think this is going to be great for that. So I can't wait for it to get hot and to be able to try this out and let y'all know how it goes. I'm really sad she didn't end up making a deal. I thought she was really cool, good energy, great product, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And overall, I'm very concerned that the Kardashians are going to end up ripping this off. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.
I'm a tea girl, but that's a good cup of coffee.
Yeah. And
Emma,
then
you don't drink coffee?
I'm English. I like a cup of English breakfast tea.
Oh, I don't know how you survive.
Margaret walked into the tank looking for $350,000 for 5% of her Kenyan coffee with a mission to compensate women farmers.
What happened in 1893?
So 1893 is when coffee was first commercially grown in Kenya, and then Kahawa means coffee in Swahili. So here it is, another pretty self-explanatory one. She has about 16 different types of coffee. It sells for $14.99 a bag, wholesales at $8, and costs them about $5 to make. So this all started because Margaret grew up on her grandfather's coffee farm in Kenya and tells us about how 90% of the labor for coffee comes from women, but they aren't compensated fairly because they aren't the ones that actually own the land. So then she talks about how they source coffee from women farmers in Africa, and this made me think that they were finding women who own land in Africa, but then Emma asks about how the women are being compensated fairly, and it honestly made me a little confused, and I'm just going to let her explain it in this clip. Somehow I totally forgot to mention this, but how the women are compensated on like the basic how it works level is when you buy a bag of coffee, there's a QR code on it and you can scan it to send a tip, and that tip goes directly to the women. Forgot to say that, my bad.
yeah, it comes down to the cultural context. In Kenya, the male member of the household typically owns the land. And so when we buy coffee, the payments go to the male member of the household. But the female member of the household is the one that's doing the work, doing the harvesting, the processing.
And who gets the tip?
When we send the tips, we've made it very clear that these are for the women. So the men respect that and support that.
And the men are okay with that.
And is
Yeah,
it
they're okay with that, yeah.
So year to date, they're at 1.3 million. They're projected to do 4 million by the end of the year. And next year, they're looking to do $10 million. So off the 4 million, they're hoping to make 600,000, which isn't like the world's best number, but also is not bad at all, especially for this category and especially compared to the other businesses this season. Kevin thinks the product and the business are good, but he's worried about getting a return on his investment.
You're not worth $7 million today. The problem with this deal, just to
What's
be...
more?
Yeah, she's worth more.
Kevin also thinks she asked for too much money.
That's the problem.
Too much money. She hasn't asked for enough money.
She hasn't asked for
Enough
enough.
for 5%.
Kevin stands by it though and says for $350,000, it's worth about $2 million, aka 17.5% equity.
Kevin,
You're out of your mind, Kevin.
Get out of town. No,
You're out
it's
of your
not.
mind.
That's crazy.
It's not, it's a commodity.
You can tell which one of you two has the MBA and went to a good school.
Mark, the good news is you get to make an offer because I'm out.
Wow. There you go.
Wow.
So Kevin's out. Emma thinks she's going to need a lot more than the $350,000 and says if they partner together, they will start raising money immediately. And she offers $350,000 for 12.5%.
I want to point something out. I said earlier, I thought you were worth $2 million. Her offer is a $2.8 million valuation. She's giving you a bonus above me of $800,000, but it's $2.8 million, not $7.
Okay.
Deal with that, MBA.
Yeah. So basically, what I would just say is that I
That's a fair point,
acknowledge.
Kevin.
Robert loves the story, but doesn't think he's a good lead investor. He thinks Emma should be taking the lead on this since it's a woman-led business. But he does want to be involved and agrees that she's going to need more cash. So he offers her that if she accepts Emma's offer, he'll give her an additional $350,000 for 12.5%.
That's unique.
So in case anybody's confused, as a total, this is a $700,000 offer for 25%, aka still a $2.8 million valuation. Mark thinks she's so great, but thinks she's just going to have to raise so much money to get where they want to go.
Which is,
and we will.
I'm not saying you can't do it. You obviously can.
Overall, Mark just doesn't like to invest in these sort of businesses, so he's out. Lori thinks she already has really great offers, and so she also goes out. Then Margaret counters for 8%.
No.
Emma jokes that she'll take off her 0.5% out of the 12.5%, but overall, Margaret's just worried about giving up that much equity in the beginning of her business, so she asks if they'd be interested in maybe doing some of the money as debt.
No, I want to do the deal I've set out with you.
Okay.
That's how I prefer to do it. Straightforward. I'm not a complicated girl.
It feels like Robert is about to throw Emma under the bus when Mark steps in to clear up what's actually being countered overall, which, to be clear, is 8% equity for $150,000 and $200,000 in debt. To which Emma immediately says she'll do that, and Robert says he'll do the same.
No, I would do the same thing too.
Come on.
Lori says she doesn't really need 3 sharks or to give up that much equity, but does want to point out that Lori would also do that deal. So pretty much at this point, she just needs to decide how much equity she's going to give up and which sharks she wants to give that equity to. Robert starts to think this is all getting too complicated and says that he's just going to offer her the $350,000 for 8% straight up.
Oh, equity. No debt. You don't need that.
Emma says, fine, I'll also do $350,000 for 8%. And Margaret and Emma end up making a deal. So first we're going to talk about the deal that was made. Because I don't understand why she ended up just doing a deal with Emma. She asks Emma when Emma says she'd do $350,000 for 8% if that means she gets 2 sharks. Emma says no, but I also wonder if there was some sort of miscommunication there, because I wonder if she'd be willing to give up 16% or if she just, I don't know. Those are just questions I have that I would love answered one day. I went to my Trader Joe's today to try to get this coffee before this video. Unfortunately, I live by a super small Trader Joe's and they did not have it, which was very disappointing, honestly. Really, all I want to say for final thoughts are, it's coffee. I really want to try it. It sounds really delicious. As far as the compensating women farmers thing, I would just like to understand it a little bit more because I worry about it. I don't know. I don't want to compare it to the Sub-Sahara basket business, but I just kind of wish it was something more like that, where maybe they were buying land and giving it to women and having women run it. But I also get why that's a super hard business to do, as is the Sub-Sahara Africa girl. So, there's wins and losses with everything. If I end up getting my hands on this one day, y'all know I'll be back with a review. But let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.